Voice of Indonesia.
Well, listeners and viewers of Voice of Indonesia, today here in our studio we have His Excellency Mr. Ameer Khurram Rathore, the Pakistani ambassador to Indonesia, and today we are going to talk about the two countries' relationship that has been developed for decades, and also the celebration for the Pakistani Independence Day. How are you,
I'm good. Thank you very
Ameer?
much. Thank you very much.
Okay. First, I would like to say Happy Independence Day for the Pakistan, the government, and its people.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your compliments.
Yes, Ambassador Ameer, as we know that Pakistan celebrates its independence on August 14. So could you elucidate for the audience or the significance of Pakistan and Indonesia relationship in, regarding this Independence Day?
Okay, let me first allow me to tell you something about the independence of Pakistan. As you know, we are a part of what is Indian subcontinent. The Indian subcontinent is a huge area, and it is called Indian subcontinent because of the very old Indus Valley civilization. So Indus is one of the biggest rivers in Indian subcontinent, and as in the olden days, the civilizations were usually on the banks of rivers. You see Egyptian civilization, it's bank of Nile, and like any other civilization. So Indian subcontinent was known for the Indus Valley civilization. And that Indus Valley now mostly constitutes the part of Pakistan. We were living in Indian subcontinent for millennia, but after the British colonialism, and as British were leaving Indian subcontinent, so there was this issue, so what would happen once the British leave? So we had two options. Either we live in a unified India, or we have separate countries. The Muslims in Indian subcontinent, we tried to live and come to some political settlement with the majority Hindus, but our efforts did not bore fruit. And the Muslims of Indian subcontinent came to the conclusion that it is better if we have a separate homeland for Muslims of India. And so for that, there was a long political process. The majority of Muslims of India decided that we should have a separate homeland for Muslims. And the formula for that was that the areas where there are more Muslims should become Pakistan, and the areas where there are more Hindus would remain India. So that's how Pakistan came into existence, and that was on the 14th of August, 1947. And that is the day that we are celebrating today.
Okay. Pakistan, August 14th is the Independence Day.
Independence Day.
Okay. Thank you, Ambassador Ameer. So, in June this year, the Indonesian Foreign Minister and his Pakistani counterpart convened in Istanbul, Turkey, and they discussed enhancing bilateral cooperation in remembrance of the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between our two countries, Indonesia and Pakistan, next year,
yes,
in 2025. So, could you provide further details on the outcomes of this meeting?
Thank you very much. One, I would like to reiterate that our relationship, diplomatic relations are usually relations between the countries. But what is most important is relations between the people. And our relationship with people in Indonesia predates Pakistan's independence or Indonesia's independence. The Muslims who were here in Indonesia before the independence of Indonesia were stood alongside their Indonesian brothers and fought for the independence of Indonesia. So that's where our relationship started. And the diplomatic relationship, as you mentioned, the latest meeting between our foreign ministers, is just a reiteration of the strong bonds that we have. So in this meeting, usually like any other meeting that we have a whole range of issues to discuss, be them political, economic, social, cultural, and that's what happened in the last meeting. We took stock of our overall relationship and charted ways to move forward. So that was the essence of that meeting.
Okay. So just now, Ambassador Ameer, you mentioned something about strong bonds between the people of the two countries. So how do you see, after more than 75 years or more than 7 decades now, how strong the bonds between the two countries, people-to-people contact?
Well, there are two aspects for that. One is the relationship, which is normally quantified, is the state-to-state relationship, and the other is the feeling that the people of one country have for the other. And I was in my last ambassadorial assignment, I was ambassador to Saudi Arabia, and whenever I went to Mecca or Medina, I mostly saw two people, two nationalities, Indonesians and Pakistanis. they dominated everything else, and the bonds. So that is actually the core of our bond, and I think I've been here for 6-7 months, and what I feel in the hearts of Indonesian people, the feelings for Pakistan, and I've seen and I've felt the same for people in Pakistan. So that is the actual strength and basis of our relationship, which is very hard to quantify, but it is the real thing.
Okay, so the strong bond is the real thing between the two countries' diplomatic relations. Now let's move from the people-to-people contact that we also, in terms of diplomatic relations, we have, yes, trade.
Yes.
Yeah, trade relations between Indonesia and Pakistan have demonstrated a positive trajectory, particularly in the area of palm oil exports. Indonesia exports nearly 3 million tons of palm oil to Pakistan annually, and fulfilling approximately 90% of the needs of the countries for editable oil requirements. So what is the current demand for palm oil in Pakistan? So is there still any potential to increase this volume?
It depends. There is a huge demand for palm oil in Pakistan. Pre-COVID, for say, if I am not wrong, from 2011-12 till COVID days, our demand for palm oil increased around 5% every year. That is primarily because of the increase of population, and more so about the urbanization in Pakistan. So, but surprisingly, post-COVID, the increase in demand of palm oil in Pakistan is more than 10%. And as you mentioned, Indonesia is the main supplier of palm oil from Indonesia to Pakistan. Almost 90% of our palm oil needs is met by Indonesia. So there is huge potential. As the demand grows, so the potential also grows.
Okay. So besides palm oil, so are there any sectors that have potential to be developed or already exist between Indonesia and Pakistan, but still need a push to make an increase in our, just say, trade or exports?
Yes, I think the potential in trade other than palm oil is huge. Uh, say, Indonesia is a huge country, more than 270 million people. Pakistan is also a big country. We are around 242 million people, and that's huge populations.
Yes.
But the problem that I see here when after I came here is that business is driven by businessmen. Government plays the role of facilitator. On the part of Pakistani businessmen, I must admit that the focus of our business community has primarily been on Western countries, America, Europe, or Gulf, or countries closer to us, Central Asia. There was not enough effort on the part of Pakistani businessmen to explore the Indonesian market, which is huge.
Yeah.
And likewise is the case with the Indonesian businessmen. So we have a few traditional commodities like palm oil, coal,
Yes.
that spices that we usually deal in. But potential, I see huge.
So, what is wrong in quotation since some or maybe many Pakistani business people do not have a good eye on this potential? I mean, the Indonesian market.
Yes. It is a mutual deficiency. Pakistani business people do not have enough exposure to Indonesian market, and Indonesian businessmen do not have enough exposure to the Pakistani market. So what we are trying to do, and inshallah we'll do it in next 5-6 months. Last year we did a business opportunities conference in Pakistan, where we took many people from Southeast Asian countries, and to apprise them, the businessmen, to apprise them of the business opportunities in Pakistan. And in the last year's meeting, there were around 400 B2B meetings in Pakistan. But we are, although we are having the same activity this year, but in the next 6 months, inshallah, we are planning to have what we are calling a single country exhibition of Pakistan in Indonesia, in Jakarta. So we plan to bring about 200 to 300 Pakistani businessmen and try to connect to their Indonesian counterparts, and for the wider Indonesian business community to give an exposure of the business opportunities in Pakistan. I think it is such activities which can offset this deficiency
Yes.
that we are talking about.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mr. Ameer. So I think trade expo, single country trade expo that you plan for the next 6 months, I think will be a good, place for the two countries' business people to meet and discuss what they can do for their country. Yes. And as we know that Pakistan also ranks as Indonesia's 6th largest trading partner in Asia. So what strategies are being employed by both countries to advance the grassroots diplomacy and elevate it to a higher level?
Well, as I mentioned in the previous questions, the crux of diplomacy is at the grassroots. The strength of any diplomatic relationship is not in the government-to-government relations. It is the strength of the people-to-people relations. And I think they are already very good, and we are continuously trying to make efforts to further strengthen them. So inshallah you will see many efforts at the grassroots level. Now it is, earlier it was different mediums to connect with people. But now we have social media, and the reach of social media is such that it reaches everybody, every person. So in the coming days, our efforts would be to reach our Indonesian brothers at the grassroots level through social media. We have already done a couple of competitions this year on social media about Indonesia and Pakistan relationship, and since it's our 75th anniversary is coming up next year, so we will double down on our efforts via social media also.
Okay, good. And while we are talking about grassroots, people-to-people contact, education, social and culture are parts that we cannot separate it from this. So how do you find the interest of Indonesian people, Indonesian students, to study in Pakistan? As long as I know, there are hundreds Indonesian people study in Pakistan now. So what the Pakistani government will do to attract more Indonesians to come to study to Pakistan, and how do you find the Indonesia for the interest of Pakistani students?
Well, education, the educational relationship are very, very important, and because we both are young countries. Yes. Let me tell you about Pakistan. I am amongst the only 12% population of Pakistan. The rest percentage of Pakistan is younger than me. So that's how young we are as a country. Our every election that we have, like the election that we have had this year, the largest group of people, of voters, are first-time voters. So it is it's a very, very young country, and they are looking for, young people have this energy, they have this sense of adventure, they have this ambition. So they want to go out, they want to explore. And I'm happy that now gradually Indonesia is coming on the radar of Pakistani young people. Currently, I think we have about 150 Pakistani students studying in Indonesia. Mm-hmm. And last year, we have more than 30 Pakistani students who applied to learn Baca in Indonesia. So that is a very positive step.
Okay, Ambassador Ameer Khurram Rathore. So, 75 years of anniversary, and also diplomatic relations between Indonesia and Pakistan. So, what message do you want to say for the Pakistani people and also Indonesian people while they are listening or watching to this program?
Well, 175 years, it shows we just need to reiterate the depth of our relationship. We are planning a host of activities next year at the government level to showcase the strength of our relationship at the 75th birthday. But it's for the people, the young people especially, to explore, to understand, to try to reach out to their counterparts in Pakistan. And now with social media, I think it is very, very easy. So I urge Pakistani youth to go on social media and learn about Indonesia, how fascinating, how huge, how potent the country is. And likewise, I would urge young people in Indonesia to go and search about Pakistan. It is the landscape, especially our north, is amazing. You won't even find that beauty in Switzerland. So just go and see what the both countries are about, and inshallah, our relationship will further deepen and develop with these young people knowing more about each other.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you. Well, listeners and viewers of Voice of Indonesia, that was my very interesting conversation with His Excellency, Mr. Ameer Khurram Lathore, the Pakistani ambassador to Indonesia, as he makes in his call that, especially you, for young people, please explore, please come and visit Indonesia. And Indonesian young people, please go and see Pakistan. I'm Dalal Pane. See you next time.
Voice of Indonesia.